So I think that's the struggle right there, is that it's a qualitatively different experience. Now, I would say if I'm a woman, I'm not.
It's like, come on.
But
come clean.
all right. If I was a woman,
Give it a try.
and I'm going to facilitate a group, I need to show the guys that I can be one of the guys.
So I'm wondering about
Yeah.
that, because I know I enjoy that role, but I sometimes think they're like, yeah, whatever, get over yourself, like you're not one of the guys.
No, you prove yourself by being there consistently.
Right.
You prove yourself by not getting freaked out when a guy curses. You prove yourself by sharing something about you that you wouldn't normally share, that gives them a sense, oh, she's being real, she's being genuine. People love genuineness and authenticity. And if you're genuine and authentic, then they're going to probably be accepting of that and adapt to that leadership style.
Fred.
Yeah.
Just a quick timing update. We're going to end the session at about 10:50.
Okay.
And the next one's going to start at 11:05 sharp, and we're going to be back on track. Does that sound doable?
Sounds good.
Okay, thank you, folks.
All right.
I think at some point having a group of men with a woman in there is almost like that sense of, not necessarily judgment, but that like you're there to get secrets. You know what I mean? Like you're the spy, like trying to figure this all out.
Right.
And I think that, like with anything though, like being transparent and having that be, okay, how are you guys feeling about the fact that
Right.
I'm the only woman in the room?
Right.
You know what I mean? Just kind of putting that out there that it can kind of break down those barriers.
No, and I think that's what you have to do. It's like over time, it's any projection or stereotype usually gets diminished by consistent contact. And so maybe they were projecting something onto you, but the more you're there, the more you're you, the less projection is there. Okay.
Well, I think when it comes to a question like this, and these can come up around most statuses, can a straight person lead a gay or a group. I mean, I think when we think of the inverse, can a man lead a women's issues group? A lot of the same questions come up, and I had an interesting experience being a TA for a women and gender studies class, which was just me and 5 women, and it was very interesting. And I think that holds true. That the more you can kind of be transparent around that issue and bring it in, the less opportunity there is for projection. At the same time, I just have a sense that, at least in that particular course, and this is very anecdotal, but I have a sense that there was a desire for this to be a women for women situation. And even though I was, an ally and tried to be very clear and I think was qualified to do it, I think it took away on some level. And people were very polite about it, but it was there, and it's something I struggle with.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on this. The other, let me add one thing too, is that a lot of the guys who are in the group go, is there a women's group? Because my wife, my girlfriend wants a women's group, and we didn't have one. And they were really frustrated because it's almost like if there was a parallel process going on, that would be awesome. So a group for women, maybe of the guys who are in the other group, that could be really cool. And so you could partner up maybe with a male therapist who's doing the men's group, and you do the women's group. And it doesn't have to be all the same people, obviously partners and all that. But there would be an opportunity for both groups to have that experience. And it's interesting because I've seen more men's groups lately than I've seen women's groups. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just thinking that it would probably be really effective for a female therapist to have a male therapist as a co-therapist to run both groups.
Right. Right.
That may be a way of addressing all of that, and then you've also got, in addition to the ability to project onto the opposite sex person, you've also got the other point of view that's also sometimes really helpful to bring in and people look for. So I think that may be a way to kind of.
No, I agree with you. And I do think there's some competitiveness that happens between guys when there's females and women, especially heterosexual. They start showing off, and we need to get past that. Yeah.
I was just wondering about your co-therapy situation and if you might play a different role from the other therapists in the room, and what happens when one is absent and comes back.
Yeah, that's interesting. We have set up so that if one of us, like my daughter's graduating Wednesday night, so I'm going to have to miss group. I tell them ahead of time. The co-therapist kind of is there, and they feel comfortable with that. They like it when we're both there, but they know that there's times when that's going to happen. Also, I want to say too, when you have a co-therapist, I'm an advocate of co-therapy because it allows you to kind of take different roles on. There are times when I'm self-disclosing something that's really relevant to the group, but I'm not at that moment watching what's going on or not keeping track of the process. And the other person can move into that role and we can switch those back and forth and see what's happening. So I do believe that it's a growth process for therapists to be in a group like this too, because all these people are stirring your issues up. And so having somebody to talk to about that, I think, allows for a different kind of intervention. When my co-therapist Tom and I are thinking about what to bring up, what kind of issues to raise in the group, oftentimes we're processing, now, how did you feel about last group? And what over the week, what's been stirred up in you? And then we use that information to help us anticipate what might be the issues in the group later. And so, you know, we don't even get to the point of being able to talk about structure here, okay? But I do want to say a few things. If you're a structured person and you feel more comfortable having it structured, structure it. We do at times some thematic exercises that, you know, we might bring in something about shame, or we might bring in something about someone you feel like you made an impact on, or we might, one might be something from childhood that you still think about. It could be anything, and what it gets is everyone to speak, and everyone to talk, have some verbal output from everybody. And when we did a study actually, and surveyed afterwards using Yalam's stuff. Let me get to that real quick so you can just see what the guys, their perspective on it was here. So this is what they liked. Okay, these are the things that they thought were important parts of the group process. And this is granted after the 9 months. But this is what they feel like they got out of the group. And that seems pretty significant to me. So we'll probably take two more questions. You had your hand up. Yeah.
I work in a county jail, and so the people that are, group therapy is our main modality, and the people who are there don't want to be there and are not completely in touch with reality. And we can't have a nice room for pillows.
Right.
There's an officer in the room. So I guess I'm wondering, there's been some insightful moments and some times for process, and I believe that these are the people who probably need this the most, the peer support, and I think they can do it even though a lot of people would say they can't. So I guess I'm wondering what kinds of things, given all these barriers, how can it be, group therapy be deepened in that sense?
Yeah, my sense is you talk about barriers, and that deepens it. Because just by talking about all the barriers to being honest and real, they end up being honest and real. And so it's all right there, and I think sometimes that's the best therapy. And I'm not sure you're going to go that deep, but you are going to go past just like, hey, you know who I am. It's more like, well, what makes this environment feel like not safe to talk? All right. It looks like I have to quit.
Aaron makes this.
Yeah, Aaron makes that. So thank you, and enjoy the rest of the day.